Welcome to the Aquaflow Crypto Lab. In my last XRP video, we said that this candle is a great bottom candidate for this cycle. If you didn't see this video, I invite you to watch it. I put a link in the description. It contains a lot of information about the current situation we are in. That said, let me refresh your mind. On this chart, we have the mountain indicator in orange, and we know for a fact that XRP cannot go below the mountain indicator. So you can consider this orange zone as a forbidden zone for XRP. This indicator is very useful because, as you can see, it catches local or cycle bottoms. In the past, we know that it caught this local bottom, this one, then this cycle bottom, and of course, here, the bottom of the SEC sell-off. And recently, we saw that the mountain indicator is still very accurate because, as you can see here, it stopped us from going below the mountain indicator. It was a great bounce. And after this, we retested the line, but we know that we wouldn't go below it because, of course, we have the mountain indicator that stopped us again. And this was 2 weeks ago. So this confirmed that we can trust the mountain indicator. The second thing that we can say about this chart is that in the past we had to wait multiple months before retesting the mountain indicator. As you can see, we tested it here, and in between we have multiple months. Then here also we waited multiple months before having this cycle bottom and retesting the mountain indicator. But here, for the very first time, as you can see, if we look at the current situation, you can see that the time gap between those two bottoms is very small. But thanks to this, these two bottoms are very close to each other. It was not the case in the past because the longer we wait, the lower we go. That's why we have a big price gap between those two bottoms. Here again, between this bottom and this bottom, we have a huge price gap because we waited a long time. And fortunately, here it was only 1 month later, and that's why we have a small difference between those two bottoms. And this is exactly why I think that this candle has a great chance to be our bottom, but it's not the only reason I think that. You know that I coded a brand new indicator that catches XRP bottoms. It looks like this, and you can see that there is no better opportunity to accumulate XRP than when the price touches the bottom line. Indeed, it was the case in 2020, but it was also the case at the very early stages of XRP because it caught this perfect bottom in 2014, and here it got this perfect bottom, and it was in 2017. Also, you can see that here we touch the line, then we have a great bounce. Here again, we touch the line, then moonshot. But the situation here in 2020 was a little bit different because, of course, we touched the line, but we even pierced the line, and it was a pretty impressive dip. But fortunately, we managed to stay above the line. We have this close of the candle above the line and the second candle still above the line. And after this, the rest was history because we had a nice bounce, then bounce and moonshot, okay? So this was still a great buying opportunity. So what about now? As you can see, we touched the line 2 weeks ago. And this, guys, that you see just right here is the most important event of the year. Why? Just look at the chart. It speaks for itself. Indeed, we don't touch this line that often. In history, in the whole history of XRP, we touched it here 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and it's only the 4th time that we are touching this line. So 4 times since the beginning of XRP in this chart, so since 2013, so it's been 9 years, and in 9 years we only touched this line 4 times. So we cannot ignore this fact, and it could mean that the bottom is reached. But there is more. In my previous video, we talked about Bitcoin situation too, because you know that XRP will bottom only when Bitcoin bottoms. That's why we are going to take a quick look at Bitcoin chart. This is Bitcoin big picture chart. As you know, 2 weeks ago when XRP was retesting its bottom line, at the same time, Bitcoin was retesting the bottom regression line that you can see just right here with the red dots. Okay, why is this line so important for Bitcoin? We just have to look left to answer to this question. This line is pretty incredible because every time that we touch it, it's a Bitcoin bottom. You can see that we tested it here, for example, it was a perfect bottom, okay, with the red dots, we touched it, we have a bounce and it was the bottom. Here, it was exactly the same scenario. We went down to retest the dots and it was a perfect bottom. And even in the very beginning of the history of Bitcoin, here again, it was a perfect bottom, okay? So you can understand now how important this line is for Bitcoin. And as you can see, just right here, we tested the line. This means that we could have reached a cycle bottom 2 weeks ago. But in my previous video, I said that we needed to be patient and to wait for a confirmation because Bitcoin was in a pretty bearish position. Indeed, it is currently trending below the 200 weeks moving average in red. I also said that we needed to wait for the breakout of this triangle between the aqua line in blue and the red dots of the regression line. Also, you can see that Bitcoin tested the confluence point between the red dots and the mountain indicator, and it's pretty perfect, guys. This is a perfect confluence between those two lines, and as you can see, we retested it. What I like is that the mountain indicator is going down, so it will be too low to be reached in the coming weeks. As you can see, we've been testing the mountain indicator for 3 weeks. Here was the capitulation candle when we retested the regression line. Then here we tested the mountain indicator again, and this time is the third time. And as you can see, we are testing the mountain indicator again. And this might be the last time that we are testing the mountain indicator because starting next week, the mountain indicator will be below the red dots. As you can see, we have the red dots going like this and the mountain indicator that is crossing the dots. Sorry, I removed the drawing so you can see it more clearly. So here you can see that the dots are going like this, right? And we have the mountain indicator going down. So this means that we have the confluence point, and starting from now, we have the regression line going up. So if we continue to use the regression line, the bottom regression line with the red dots as a strong support, Bitcoin has no choice but to break out to the upside. In addition, you can see it just right here, we have small pink dots coming down. This is the hourglass indicator. I remind you that these dots act as a pivot line that times great pivot points in the market. This hourglass indicator has two lines. We have the pink dots and the green dots. Again, the pink dot and the green dots. Okay, so it's a periodic indicator. And as you can see, every time that we cross or that we touch these lines, we have great pivot points in the market. For example, for the green dots here, we touched it, and it was a great pivot point because it was the very top of Bitcoin in 2017. Then here it was again a great top because it was the top after this legendary bull run. Okay, here again it was a great top for Bitcoin, and that's why here I really believe that after crossing this line, we will have a major pivot point in the market. And you know that confluence is our best friend. That's how we anticipated this whole move from the start, because we knew that after leaving the spotlight indicator in yellow and being below the cloud line in white, we would have retested the aqua line, then bounce, and then we went into this big confluence zone with all these lines, the aqua line, the 200 weeks moving average, the bottom line, the golden bottom line that you can see here, the mountain indicator in red, and the regression line that had caught the bottom here and another bottom just right here. And it's no coincidence that the hourglass indicator is coming down at the same time, joining this big confluence area. So I really believe that we will have a great move in the market next week or the week after. So now you understand why I'm paying attention to this zone. Next week or the week after, we will cross the pink dots of the hourglass indicator, and it will be a great opportunity to reverse the downtrend that we've been in since April 2022. However, I want to warn you about something. Right now, we are trending below the 200 weeks moving average, and we are also below the aqua line. This means that unless we go above those lines, we have to consider them as resistances. And this is exactly what you can see with the aqua line just right here. We went up to retest the aqua line and we got rejected and pushed down to retest the bottom indicator with the dots. Whatever the market decides, it's almost decision time. So if you want to track what will happen with us, please subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, comment the video and give me a thumbs up. It helps a lot. Thanks for the support. That's all for today's video, and as always, time will tell.